Boy, we're about to have some problems up here. James Gunn's Superman has finally been released worldwide, and it is the moment of truth. Is James Gunn justified in rebooting the DC universe, or is it that the Snyder Bros was correct? Now look, before I get started, do you borrow three major favors? Please hit that subscribe button. Then after you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit the notification bell, because YouTube absolutely sucks at notifying subscribers that content creators has uploaded videos to that platform. Hitting that notification bell certainly helps. And don't forget to hit that like button to help me out with that algorithm, baby. Now let's get into today's video. This article is coming from Deadline. It is titled Superman Powers to $217 million Global Opening. Now I know, at face value, that seems like a pretty good number. However, you have to get into the details, which is what I am going to do today. Let's go. Superman, the first movie in Peter Safran and James Gunn's revamped DC Studios Phase 1, Gods and Monsters, has leaked to a $217 million global opening. That's in line with the pre-weekend projection of at least $200 million. Yesterday, see below. We increased that to $210 plus million. So $217 million. Let's look at it with the fine print. All right. At $217 million, that is $122 million domestically. I know many people thought that this was going to be a $170 million opening weekend for James Gunn Superman, but it ain't happening. And trust me when I tell you, we're going to get into that. Just stick around. All right. Let's give it a multiplier of 2.7. I'm going to go a little high. That would be $329 million. Overseas, just a measly $95 million overseas. And get this, it could go lower. That's right. It could go even lower than that. We're going to talk about exactly what is going on overseas. As I said, just stick with me. $95 million. Let's give it the same legs of 2.7. That is $237 million. Now look, I am being generous with this overseas number because in the foreign lands, this film is not received well. The average score for this movie is 2.5 out of 5. So people over there are 50-50. So I will not hold my breath for a multiplier of 2.7. If you ask me, this thing would be lucky to earn a multiplier of 2. So we're just going to go with the 2.7. That would give the film $566 million worldwide. Now, break it down like this. They spent $225 million, so they say, and $150 million marketing this thing. So now there are $375 million in. Domestically, if it managed to earn $329 million, that would be $165 million going back to the studio. Overseas, if it earns the $237 million that I just predicted, or should I say suggested that it can do, that would be $106 million going back to the studio. That would give you a total of $271 million. It is a flop. It is a flop. And if you look at the worldwide opening, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania opened to $225 million worldwide. That film did not earn $500 million by the end of its box office run. The Thunderbolts had an $86 million overseas debut. It did not cross over $200 million over there. The Flash had a $75 million debut overseas. It did not cross over $200 million there. The Marvels had a $63 million debut, and it did not cross over $200 million over there. Now, Captain America: Brave New World did cross over the $200 million international mark, and it opened to $96 million. Now, why did someone try to convince me that this was going to be the biggest movie of all time? You're telling me that you achieved the most trailer views in Warner Brothers history. If the only thing that you can conjure up is a measly $566 million, and guess what? That is the high end. The 566 is the high end. There's a possibility that this thing could miss 550. No wonder why Peter Safran, David Zaslav, and James Gunn is trying to convince us all that this film doesn't need $700 million worldwide to break even. They will be satisfied with $500 million, which is incredibly shocking, knowing damn well that Warner Brothers is broke right now. They are broke. And I know many people are going to say, dude, it's successful domestically. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. For months, well, let's just say years, you guys has been screaming $1 billion. And here it is. You're not going to even get over the $600 million worldwide mark. And if you adjust that for inflation towards that of Man of Steel, it is quite embarrassing. It is embarrassing. And think about it like this. This thing did not open bigger than Man of Steel worldwide, unadjusted for inflation. Think about that for a second. So you rebooted this whole entire universe for what? Mediocrity? Failure? More failure? And Supergirl is next. If Superman cannot earn over $600 million worldwide, what the hell make you think that Supergirl will be able to earn $300 million worldwide? The DC universe is already dead. It is DOA. And I ain't talking crazy here. Anyone with some sense understands that this does not have any interest. And speaking of interest, for what? The last few years ago or so, they said that the Snyder Bros was in the minority. However, if it's doing good domestically and it isn't doing good internationally, doesn't that say that the majority was willing to support Zack Snyder's films? Say what you want to say about him. The guy had international appeal. Neither of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight films gross more than Batman vs. Superman overseas or that of Aquaman. See, this whole thing has always been about these anti-Snyder cultists, let's just say that, looking for a moment to where they could just point at you and say, nah. That's what they want to do. They want to point at you and say, nah, we told you so. However, multiple projects has been released since Zack Snyder has left and DC continues to fail. The battle that many people picked with Zack Snyder's fans back in the days was always a losing battle. The moment that Walter Hamada released that horrible Suicide Squad and it did not make any money, or should I say it didn't even perform on a level of Godzilla versus Kong and also that of Dune, which both films released under the same circumstance, they did not understand back then that this was wrong. And we kept telling them. We kept telling them. They will always tell us that you guys are idiots. You guys are fools. This is why I say DC for dummies. Because DC has some dumbass fans. They do not realize when they are in the minority. And the facts are there. The majority of the world just isn't on board. You got a $95 million opening weekend for James Gunn's Superman aboard. $95 million. And here it is. You got all these fake fanboys on YouTube gloating over this. Oh, this is fantastic. This is wonderful. Hell to the no. What a way to cope, huh? What a way to cope. James Gunn's Superman is a failure. Even if it breaks even, it is a failure. And guess what? I do not want to hear anyone talk about how Zack Snyder damaged the brand of Superman because they damn sure showed up after Man of Steel. They showed up after Batman vs. Superman. People need to stop acting like Batman vs. Superman was the last film that Zack Snyder released. No, we got Man of Steel. We got Batman vs. Superman. We got the Suicide Squad. Then we had Wonder Woman. And then the Studio League. And then Aquaman. The only outlier is that of the Studio League. It's common fucking sense. And here it is. You got these dumbass fans out there talking about how they are going to be justified July 11th. Look up, look up. Hell no. Let's look down. Because this box office is at the bottom of the barrel. I'm your boy O. Hopefully you have watched this video all the way to the end up your boy out that algorithm. And if you're not subscribed, please be sure to do so. Trying to reach that big number of 100,000 subs. So I'll be highly appreciative. You will help me cross over that threshold by hitting that subscribe button. Then after you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit the notification bell, because YouTube absolutely sucks at notifying subscribers that content creators has uploaded videos to their platform. Hitting that notification bell certainly helps. And don't forget to hit that like button to help me out with that algorithm, baby, in the comments below. Let me know, what do you think about this opening? Tell me, do you feel that this is successful? And I don't want to hear nothing about the goodwill of the fans. DC has had some fresh films in the last few years, and guess what? Nobody showed up. And always remember, let the love on the moulay. That means let the good times roll. But let me know in the comments below.